Let's make sure that... This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Greetings, imaginations connoisseurs. Welcome to another edition of the MOC Squad, the members-only chat, right here at the Burnettwork with the Post-Geek Singularity community. Introducing this morning, the one and only Viceroy of Verisimilitude himself, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. How are you, Rob?
Well, hello there, Roberto. I'm back from the grave and ready to party, as they said in Return of the Living Dead, which Arrow is going to release in 4K, so all is right with the world.
Hey, you can't complain about any of that. You had a fun weekend last weekend in San Diego Comic-Con.
It was busy, it was busy. It was great fun. Saw a lot of people. I thought it was a really fun convention.
I heard it harken back to the old school San Diego Comic-Con because it wasn't as much of the movie presence as there has been, right?
And there was a lot of things like out behind the convention center. There was a lot of activity going on. They've built a Hollywood Bowl-esque shell, a performance shell. They had like K-pop. I guess they were promoting K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever. Yeah. And there was just a lot of activity out there, and I had a really great time. Marianne Butler, my friend Mab, she moderated a panel with Ron Moore, and then Ron Moore was actually on our Starships Backdown panel and came to the Marriott and hung out for like 90 minutes or 2 hours just at our table. And I got to extensively ask him about For All Mankind, and he said to me when he got up to take off, he said, "Listen, I really want I want to be on your podcast."
Nice,
because I think he understood that I'm really into For All Mankind.
Yeah, no, of course.
And he told me a few things about Star City and that I can't share, but it was, I think he was bemused that I was so into it. I'm like, "Justice for Sergei, free Margot," and he was laughing his ass off about that. So that was... He
is working on Star City. I wasn't sure if he was part of the spinoff or not.
Yeah. Cool. And he said it's a very different show, but it's going to follow the same pattern. Like it's not going to match For All Mankind exactly. But it's gonna, he'll go into the history because he talked about the KGB, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And he told me a few things. I asked about, well, so-and-so, but it was really interesting. And then he had a lot to say about the television industry per se, which he wasn't keen on the business side of it and what's happened because of streaming. Sure. Although, he said, look, how do you keep an audience when you're making 10 episodes of a show every 2 years? Mm-hmm. And he came out of Galactica and
Star Trek.
Star Trek was making 26 episodes a season. I mean, they can't even make 10 episodes of Strange New Worlds without making goofy comedic episodes. They have yet to tell one. I don't think Strange New Worlds has even a classic episode yet. It's all into their third season, and it's all either riffs on the original series because those creators are completely bankrupt and they don't know what to do. Yeah. But it's really sad. They got all the money and they got a great cast, and what they don't have are writers that can. No, it's a Star Trek show that knows it's a Star Trek show, wanting to make sure they know it's a Star Trek show. I mean, it's just completely.
and in the worst way possible, in the most vapid, superficial way possible.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, it's interesting. I didn't think I could hate Star Trek more than I hated Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah,
but I hate Strange New Worlds more for different reasons.
Yeah.
The fact that they clearly have no respect for the original show, and there's this attitude, like, what I don't understand, and I think this is true of, there are people that can take science fiction seriously, that understand as a genre how important it can be, because like Rod Serling and like Gene Roddenberry, those creators used the fantasy frame to deal with very human issues that they couldn't get away with dealing with directly on television at the time.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone started in 59, Star Trek started in 66. And the allegorical nature of those shows really allowed them to make hard-hitting yet entertaining episodes that had meaning and were worthwhile. The people that are making Strange New Worlds, there's no conviction there.
Yeah.
I mean, Spock has yet another girlfriend. It's third. In the course of the series, we're just starting the third season, and we've gone through T'Pring, Nurse Chapel, and now the descendant of Khan Noonien Singh, who Christina Chong is she's a great actress.
She's great.
But she's fantastic. And yet they saddled her with a stupid backstory that she's one of Khan's descendants, which also completely ruins Space Seed and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, because, well, why wouldn't they know all about Khan?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they have looked in the record books, and wouldn't Khan be known everywhere now that there's a member of his family? And so that is such an Akiva Goldsman thing, thinking he's clever.
Yeah.
He's not clever. But anyway, I don't want to.
No, I can see the comments already saying that you broke the record for a Star Trek rant in under 5 minutes of airtime. So, and so, speaking of comments, we're about to let everybody into the Zoom chat who's here. Just want to say a couple of reminders. Remember that if you are watching this on YouTube, we usually air about the first couple of hours of our members-only chat. And if you'd like to join, you just become a member of the YouTube channel for as little as $1 or 99 cents a month, I think. And you'll get the link in the announcements page for the channel, and you can join us in the Zoom chat. And then when you come in, remember, those of you who are going to be in Zoom, we will. I'll call you on the order that I have you in my queue here, and you get 7 minutes with Rob.
7 minutes in heaven, and you can also participate if you're not a member via Super Chats or the tip link, which is down below. I'm just turning on I always forget to look at the tip link.
Or if you are a member too. I mean, if you're a member and you're just not interested in engaging in the Zoom chat. Also remember that we will stream like the first couple of hours of the chat. Once we go off the air, we still continue the chat for our members. There are folks who like to engage with us without being on the show live, so you're more than welcome to wait your turn until then. We've got a packed house here today, Rob. I see over 20 people joining us in the Zoom chat. So let's go ahead and let them all in, shall we?
Let's matrix them all up.
Boom. And remember, as you come in, Zoom has the tools at the bottom of the screen there for you to raise your hand, and that'll get you on the queue, and I will call you in the order in which you appear here on my queue, which might look different from your queue. So, but welcome everybody. And then as people are
greetings programs,
greetings everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and put. Let me just get Rob back in on.
We're that much closer to the release of 9 Inch Nails soundtrack album for Tron.
Did I see that at SDCC? They were giving away but it was an irregularly shaped.
Bro, it's
record.
Instead of a recognizer disc, they've got like a triangular recognizer disc, and I tried to get those too. And they were giving them away. Yes.
Oh, they were giving them away. It wasn't even something you had to buy.
Yeah, I think they were giving them away.
Yeah, I think you're right. That there were giveaways.
Tried to get those. I mean, it's impossible. You have to make it a full-time job if you're going to get
any of the exclusives.
I tried because I was looking for the Four Horsemen figures for you.
And, yeah.
And then there's a huge line, and I'm usually having to be somewhere, and it was hard. But that doesn't matter because you can find them elsewhere.
Well, I read that the Four Horsemen actually sold out their entire booth. By Sunday, they had nothing. They were cleaned out of everything that they had brought. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah,
their booth was always full.
Yeah, well, they're about to release an RPG. They're doing an RPG game, which actually incorporates their action figures. I don't know exactly how they do it, but there's a way in which the figures are going to be used as part of the RPG. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have Alon up first here, jumping in quite bright and early. So let me go ahead and add Alon to the conversation here. Alon, you should be able to join us now. Welcome, my friend.
Come on in.
Sorry, hang on. You got me.
Oh, I got Jeff by mistake. My apologies, Jeff. I'm going to go ahead and fix that in a second here. Alon, my bad. I think sometimes things just kind of jump on my screen in the wrong way here. Alon, are you able to unmute yourself now?
Shalom.
There you go. Shalom. Welcome,
Shalom.
Alon.
There we go, Alon. What's up, dude?
Doing great.
By the way, I've applied for Israeli citizenship.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And I've had people call and try to verify. I've got to get all the information like from my synagogue in Seattle to say that I was bar mitzvahed to prove that I'm really a Jew. Yeah.
I can attest it like you if you'd like.
Well, I'll have to have you send them all my social media posts.
Sure, no problem. That's no problem. No, not an issue.
I just didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends on the lineage and stuff. But my some parts of my family are applied for it, like who lives in the States, and they applied also. Anyway, I wanted to say Fantastic Four was great, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to ask you what you think about Stop Killing Games. Are you familiar with the initiative?
No.
Okay. So basically, it is an initiative that is trying to prevent companies from destroying video games that people purchased and bought.
I've heard about this.
So basically what happens is you pay for a game, you get a subscription, even though like sometimes it's not necessarily being advertised as such. Like logically, it's a single player game, or it's advertised as something else, and then one day the company decides that like it's no longer financially viable for them to keep this particular game running, and maybe it's more financially appealing to them to maybe release a new game. So like the new FIFA comes out, and like the old one
goes away,
is being shut down. And stuff like that. It started with a game, with a single player basically game called The Crew that was shut down, and then people revolted because they pay for a game, and even though like the servers may need to shut down, like there's no need to actually take away games from people's libraries and stuff. So that's like the whole story in a jiffy. And I wanted to ask you, because like I know that you're a very big proponent of or an advocate of like physical media and stuff. And I've noticed like how lately over the past couple of years, our rights as consumers have been little by little being stripped away from us. So like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, when you bought a book, you could, for example, take it on a flight with you and read it on your way to like somewhere else. But these days, if you start listening to an audiobook on a flight, you may not be able to listen to it once you like you go from one country to the other. Same goes with your Netflix subscription. Some titles are not available in one country and are available in the other one. Companies now, for some reason, have a way to disable your product without actually it's as if 30 years ago or 20 years ago, someone would have like broken into your home and like took away a product that you bought without you like having any say over it.
Yeah, and they've done that with people's movie subscriptions. Like the ultraviolet thing that happened with that format. I mean, look, there has been a push. I really started with computer programs like that you have to subscribe to, like Adobe.
Yeah.
Adobe, they moved over to a subscription model. They don't want you to own anything.
Yeah, so everything is now like a subscription.
Yeah, and movies, music, and the unfortunate part about this is it's eventually you're not going to be able to get players. Like I talk about this a lot on Let's Get Physical Media. I mean, I'm still buying. We're in a golden age of movies on physical media. They're putting out these beautiful 4K versions. The boutique labels are putting out amazing things, but they're only as good as far as you can get players.
Yeah.
And there's the companies that make players like Oppo, they discontinued making players, and there's only a very few companies that still make players left in the world. And the same is true Xbox and PlayStation in their new iterations. They're not going to have disk drives. They're not going to be able to play discs.
Yeah,
and
also like the latest Switch, now like the cartridge itself, the little thing that's like supposed to hold your game, it now only holds like a link to your game. So basically,
yeah. And the problem that I have with all of those things is that, like you said, the power is no longer with the consumer. And if the game company or the movie company or the record company wants to take away something, they can just go ahead and do it, and there's no recompense. There's no, you're not you have no way to get your product back. And
yeah, I mean, even if they were to like to give you money for a product, it's still not like you made a deal and you purchased something and you basically signed a contract. Like, I'm giving you this money and I want this product in return. And stripping away like consumers' rights and taking away their products, especially if it's done in a way that is meant to promote like the latest product. Like, no, you no longer get to play like this year's or that year's NBA. Now you need to play the new one, so buy a new copy. It's absurd. And thankfully, like I think that we are as consumers, we are waking up to start to see like the absurd reality that we found ourselves in.
yeah, no, it's
like if we stay silent, and if we don't talk about it, and if we don't raise the issue that like this reality is way different than what we used to have 20 years ago in the physical world, people are just going to like the frog will just boil away. We have to speak up, and we have to fight for our rights as consumers.
No, I agree. I think ever since they've made in-game purchases part of the games, like I remember when I first got my PlayStation 5, the first game I was really excited about playing was the Hot Wheels game. It was just a racing game. I love racing games. By the way, where's SSX for the PlayStation 5? But when I got the game, I played it for about 20 minutes, and I realized you had to pay for upgrades to your car, or else you couldn't get any further. And I'm like, I already paid $56 for this game.
And the weirdest thing is that game could vanish, could go away in like 5 years tops, because they no longer have the right to like one of the songs.
Right, or the songs, or
Which
the
is
cars,
absurd.
and I have to say that game, I played it for that 20 minutes, and I haven't touched it since. It was so frustrating. I'm like, I love racing games, and the game is a really cool game, but it was so frustrating because I couldn't get any further 20 minutes in. And in-game purchases seem to be so. I used to love, like, you could go buy Grand Theft Auto. I love the Grand Theft Auto franchise. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5, and I enjoyed it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Played the story mode, then and that's all I had to worry about. And in-game purchases, I think, are terrible. But the idea that all of these things that you buy can go away, it's not. I mean, I know that's where they want to, all companies want to push us that way, because then they don't have to actually produce anything. They can just give you a piece of code, that has your book on it or your movie on it or whatever, and remove it. They don't have to manufacture anything. The problem with that is that at the end of the day, everything is ephemeral. Everything can go away. If there's no physical copies of anything, what are you going to do when it all disappears? I mean, they don't even know. It's really interesting. There's a lot of movies that were made digitally over the last 25 years. Unless they continue to migrate those files and update them, there's a possibility some movies, like when David Fincher started shooting on digitally capturing his movies, are they going to last forever? Unless you do celluloid separation, color, black and white color separation masters, 3-strip celluloid, which will last for 100 years. That's expensive. And a lot of producers, like the movie Amelie, for instance, they could never do a 4K upgrade because when they made Amelie and it came out in 2001, it only exists as a 2K master, and they didn't do color separation celluloid masters. So they had a print that they could go back and use, and not prints, but they do colors. They do 3-strip RGB celluloid separation, 3 strips, so they can preserve film forever, at least 100 years. And if they're not going to do that, those movies could disappear.
Yeah.
And it's true of games and books and everything else. And the fact that we're now at the whims, I look around the observatory here and no one's taking my shit away. You can't, and think about it. If we descend into some kind of dystopian fascist regime, I've often joked, but it's true, you could go and grab my Amazon buy list for the last 25 years and look, he's a subversive human being. Look at the movies and look at the books he's bought. Yeah. We're gonna lock that guy up. We don't like the books he's reading. And we're there, man. We're living in a dystopian civilization. We just don't know it yet. We haven't, but I think you're right. Consumers need to fight for their rights. But the problem is it's not going to change. We're never going to go back to that model where you buy things, and they're just not going to do that, because you have manufacturing issues, you have shipping issues, you have to put product out on the shelves, and all of that has gone away. You have no guarantee. They're going to make everything downloadable now. And that's the world we live in. I don't see any way that we're going to go back. I don't know how to protect consumers from that. It's like my Spotify playlist that I've curated for 15 years. Yeah. Sometimes I go back to it. It's all movie soundtracks, and I'm very proud of my Spotify movie soundtrack playlist. And things disappear from it. And I'm like, what the hell? I have a beautifully curated Spotify playlist that has hundreds of songs on it that studio executives have told me they found and listened to. And then somebody goes in and takes away a song and fucks up my list. That's not fair. It is fair to them, but this is problematic. Yeah. But I think you're right.
Good to see you, Alan. And if you have I think you mentioned something about a petition. If you have a link that you want to share with us here in the Zoom chat, we'll go ahead and post it for our audience as well in the live chat. So please feel free to do that. We got Jeff Bingham coming up next. Jeff, you should be able to join us now. Welcome.
What's up, dude?
Not much. So first things first, quick review of Naked Gun. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well,
what did you think?
First two acts were pretty hilarious. I think it lost steam in the third act because I feel like it did kind of. I kind of agree with Campy's review. I won't share my favorite line since you haven't seen it. I wanted to, but oh well. I call that my sense of humor wellness checkup as well. I think it was for pretty much anyone going to see it. You know what I mean?
I love that your sense of humor. Look, people's sense of humor has been severely lacking over the last 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Is it a kick in the teeth? Dude, are people going to have to check their if they're offended by things? Should they check that at the door and go in to enjoy the movie on its own terms?
I don't know if it's that offensive, really.
Maybe that's too bad.
I feel like I guess the line I was referring to is kind of like the way that Liam Neeson describes Pamela Anderson, like maybe some people would think, oh, he's describing the physical features of a woman, but I also feel like the way that he was describing it was hilarious.
Well, that's
which is my
good.
favorite line. All right, so Fantastic Four. So I had mixed positive feelings, at least on my experience watching it. I thought the story was good. I thought the performances were good. My problem was kind of the visual aesthetic of the movie that didn't really capture me and keep me engaged. You know what I mean?
That's
I
interesting.
thought, well, because here's the thing, it was shot on IMAX, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because the problem isn't the scale of the movie. I guess it was just like the color palettes that didn't really keep me engaged for
I
whatever
thought it was
reason.
fairly muted.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I wanted, when I watched it, I was surprised because normally my local theater, I go see movies in they've got a great projection system, and the film felt muted. It felt very pastel.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
which I thought should be brighter.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, so and another thing that I actually did feel is like the uniforms that they had. I understand they're comic accurate, but in terms of like live action, that feeling that it's like a sweater design, it didn't really. I mean, in comparison to like the 2005 Fantastic Four, which has been brought up, which I've seen brought up, is that obviously not a good movie. But the thing people pointed out about the uniforms in that movie is that they had sex appeal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they didn't in this movie. And what's funny is that stuff like that wasn't a problem for me before in movies like these. And it also wasn't really a problem watching the trailers. I feel like it only was a problem for me because of something I had watched earlier in the week that was still on my mind. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, that you watched earlier in the week that was still on your mind. I don't know.
Oh, the Hunting Wives.
Oh, yeah. You asked. Boy, that show's kind of bananas.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's funny that the Hunting Wives is something that. So for those of you who haven't seen the Hunting Wives, you should. But it's one of those things that suddenly I was completely unaware of, and then you being one of them, multiple sources, I started reading about it. Like somehow these ideas finally penetrate the zeitgeist to a certain point where I started seeing mentions of it in all these different places I look at, and I'm like, oh, I got to run and go see that, which I did. And I feel like I'm a better man for it now. But yeah, that's interesting.
A lot of people seem to be, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's like I compare it to like other sort of series that have tried to, bring eroticism back into the mainstream. Like 2 years ago, there were 2 series that tried to. There's the Fatal Attraction reboot, which fell flat.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And then there was that there was a mini series on Netflix based on a book set in the UK called Obsession. Heard about that?
Yeah. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, you don't have to bother with that one because I mean it has its fair share of sex and nudity, and I guess the story itself kind of follows standard story points of the genre, but it just felt so dull and lifeless, and there was no feeling of buildup and desire between the lead characters, unlike Brittany Snow and Malin Ackerman in The Hunting Wives.
Yeah. And by the way, don't forget, Joe Esterhaus announced he's going to reboot Basic Instinct.
Yeah, anti-woke, as if the first one was woke in the first place.
Yeah, I don't. Basic Instinct got attacked by gay activists. There was protests outside the theater when I first went and saw Basic Instinct because they were the same. They thought that they were going to portray lesbianism in some kind of these lesbians are serial killers. I'm like, yeah, but Leilani Sorrell and Sharon Stone, I mean, I'm willing to sacrifice my life to get between the two of them, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, come on, what's not to love? No, I mean, we live in such a weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to bring eroticism back.
Well,
I
does the Hunting Wives maybe not make a case that it can be?
Well, I think the Hunting Wives went a long way, but our culture it's almost like the commodification of that. We now live in a world where
Maybe it's unique circumstances.
I don't know, man.
You have
I
the
think
right story, right? Maybe like the right people in those kinds of projects.
I don't know if our civilization though prizes lust or I mean, I just think about when I was growing up how exciting it was to kiss a girl. I mean, when you got there,
I'll agree to disagree with you there. I think it's case by case basis with each project.
maybe I just don't know if because the thing is, to me, eroticism and attraction is a lot of that is the basis of art. And look at Helen of Troy. They fought a war over one man's lust for a woman, and does that exist anymore? Can that exist anymore? I mean, we have, in a world full of OnlyFans models bitching and moaning and complaining that men don't want to date them when they find out that they're OnlyFans models. I mean, what's going on? What's happening? The birth rates are plummeting in the Western world. No one wants to get busy anymore. No one can afford to have kids. I don't know. I don't know if eroticism is if you can make that work. Maybe you can. I mean, eroticism now is being used like that Nicole Kidman movie. Was it Baby Doll? Was it Baby Doll? Which had some really hot stuff in it, but it was not about the eroticism. It was more about the relationships in work, and it was interesting. It was about power dynamics and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, it's good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, Jeff. Next up, all the way from Argentina, it's Andy. Welcome, Andy. Bienvenido.
It's always good to see you, man.
Hola, Roberto.
Hola, hola.
Hi, Rob. Can you hear me?
I can. Hola.
Hola. How are you?
Muy bien.
Right. Oh, 2 words. Great. Okay. Today I will tell you that even though infamously I walked out of Superman, I never said I wasn't going to give another chance. So I went again. And, well, at least this time I finished it. Progress, right? But, yeah, I believe that this is my opinion, all right? I believe that movie was made for super comic book fans and little children. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. That's the way I felt it.
There's a side of me that's exactly what you just described.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a small child. I've never given up my inner child, and I'm a comic book fan.
I know. Yeah, I'm not, but that's okay. The movie does not have to be for me. I already have Man of Steel. I'm a metalhead, and I have Man of Steel. That's mine forever. I have the 4K and all that. So,
by the way, Ozzy.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Ozzy. Absolutely. And hold on. I will say that I've seen Fantastic Four, and even though a few special effects were a little cringy, like that fucking baby. I'm sorry, I never got into the view of the baby. It was like I was watching a very sophisticated plastic cartoon. It would have been better maybe to have a real baby, like in the old days when they had to make a movie with a dog. They use a real trained dog, instead of a CGI cartoon, if you know what I mean. But that's not my criticism. Just early, a few minutes before the stream, Major Chai Chai said to me that she felt for Fantastic Four pretty much the same way I felt for Superman, and I don't know if she meant, well, she will say in a few minutes, right? Because she's there. Hi, Major. But I don't know. She meant that maybe she felt Fantastic Four was also for super comic book fans or little children, because that's exactly what I felt. Maybe that's not the case. She will explain. But my thing is that I believe both movies were fine. I don't criticize them for being crap or anything. I would like to back up a little bit. I want to make a point that I believe movies are important not because we are super fanatics, we get crazy for stupid shit. I believe movies are important because they inspired us, to do better and to make other shit. Like with the OG Star Trek show, that scientists and doctors became scientists and doctors because of Star Trek OG, right?
Yeah.
So if we get crappy or just substandard or fine entertainment, then we get crappy inspiration. You know what I mean? And if we get great entertainment and great art, then we get great inspiration. That's why, at least in my opinion, I care if a movie is just 6 out of 10, or if it's a 10 out of 10, or a 3 out of 10. That's why I care. It's not like I care if that movie makes 200 million or a billion. That's somebody else's money. My thing is that I get inspired with the movies and with other art. I make music, you know that. So when I listen to a great record or a great piece of music, I get inspired. And that's important to me because I spend a hell of a lot of time making art if I make music. And at the same time, we create new directors, new screenwriters that are inspired by the art. If we have new directors and new screenwriters that are inspired with 6 out of 10 movies, you know what I mean, right? So that's what I'm saying.
But I would say that making a great movie is very, very hard. And there is an element of magic. There's an element of alchemy in the creation of a film. You can put the best people together. You can have the greatest script, greatest direction. It's still, there's 10,000 decisions that are made every day on a movie set by a bunch of incredibly talented people. And you're expected to capture, lightning in a bottle. It's really, really hard.
Rob, you're absolutely right, 100%, and you know a hell of a lot more about this than me, but my opinion is that sometimes when you make a super low budget movie, you only count with your creativity, right? And when you get $200 million, maybe you can get a movie to look okay, but I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, that $200 million should buy the best fucking screenwriter in this world and the best director, unless we have executives that have their heads in their asses and that are thinking about something else than creativity. You know what I mean?
Well, but the thing is, for $200 million, you have to serve many masters. There are many people that are overseeing. I mean, that is part of this is the big part of the problem with motion pictures. All the movies that were made, say 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that we loved, cost 20 so much less than movies cost.
And also
today.
the TV shows too. We can't have one piece costing $250 million. We have to wait 3 years, 4 years. The kids are already grandparents. You know what I mean? That doesn't work.
I mean, look, the thing is, when James Cameron made Terminator, it was a $6.5 million movie. Can you imagine what would $6.5 million buy you now? What's really amazing is if you look at, Terminator came out in 1984. Terminator 2 came out in 1991. Not even 10 years later, it was the first $100 million movie. So you went from essentially a low budget B movie that was made by an expert, a visionary. You know, even though he'd made Piranha 2: The Spawning, he'd worked in special effects on Escape from New York and Battle Beyond the Stars and for Corman. He learned his craft. He knew what he was doing. He innately had talent to make movies. And so Cameron gives us Terminator in 84. An amazing, you know, it's still a B movie, but it's one of the most amazing B movies ever made. The technique, and you can look at it. I'm not saying that, well, some of Stan Winston's effects might not hold up today. That's not what I mean. At the time, it all worked. And I know what it was like because I went and saw it on the Saturday that it opened. And it blew us away. It was unbelievable. And you walked out of that theater elated. You're like, no one cared how much that movie cost. That movie was fucking awesome. And you walked out of the theater going, oh my God. It's not about how much. That's why, look, I love the movie Stone Cold starring Brian Bosworth. I've been defending this movie for years. Is it great? Fuck yeah, it's great. But it's a B movie. It's maybe a B- movie. But Craig Baxley, who directed it, who was a former stuntman, and Brian Bosworth with his failed NFL career after being a phenom in college, the movie knows what it is. So when you go in to see a movie called Stone Cold starring Brian Bosworth, you're not expecting to see Gone with the Fucking Wind or Lawrence of Arabia. You're expecting to see Stone fucking Cold with Brian Bosworth. So you have these expectations of what it's supposed to be. And it actually exceeded those expectations. The problem now is when you're spending $200 million. By the way, what was a Studio B movie, Terminator is a perfect example. It started out as a $6 million movie, and it became It became the most expensive movie Hollywood ever made. That's what's happened. All we are getting, and superhero movies fall into this, they are B movies. They're B movies, and not like bad movies. They are genre grindhouse fare that has been elevated to the A of the A list. And so when you see Fantastic Four, think about it. It's the 37th Marvel movie. Marvel movies, on the average, they used to average out $1 billion a movie. That was their gross. And since Phase 4 began, that hasn't happened. So you have shareholders, you have Disney executives, Kevin Feige himself. Everyone's looking at them going, well, what happened? What happened to your $1 billion average? Why is Fantastic Four underperforming in its second week? Where's your female audience? Why aren't people going? Fantastic Four is not doing as well as Superman in its second week. The international numbers are crashing. The domestic numbers are crashing. Why? And someone says, and by the way, that movie it was not cheap. So the real question, and you had all the most talented people in the world making it. The problem is you have everybody second guessing everything when you spend that much money. So you can't have the visionary directors that we all grew up with and loved. They don't have an opportunity to make true visionary films unless, look, I haven't seen it yet, but Zach Kreger's Weapons that opens next week, there's a movie that cost a fraction of Fantastic Four, and I'm willing to bet is entirely more satisfying an experience at the movies. Why aren't studios only making movies for as much as Weapons cost now? I don't know.
Well, thanks.
I do know.
Thanks for joining us, Sandy. Rob, for some reason, I'm noticing things are not synced up audio-wise between video and audio. Just like there's like a little bit of a delay. I don't know that I want to mess too much with the stream because
can you click off the stream and click back on when you're live? You know, the little green or whatever the indicator is. Just click off and on.
Click off and on.
So like literally stop this broadcast from going to YouTube. Click on and off whatever that button is, and just click it off and then click it back on. Something is happening to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I don't want to mess with it because I'm on StreamYard. I don't want to mess with that. So it's okay. I'll keep an eye on it. And
I blame China. DL says I blame China. I blame China too.
I apologize, but it's not a big deal. It's just slightly off. We'll just leave it at that.
They just don't like the fact that I do 4-hour streams.
That must be it.
Read people's letters.
There are a couple of super chat stuff here that I want to make sure. At LGF18 became a YouTube member, so we welcome LGF18. Maybe you can join us in this chat or a future one. So welcome.
Come on in.
And we have at Agent Silver Fox 74.95 for £9.99, saying, Rob, maybe I can join the next MOC Squad with notice. Would love to talk figures, movies, and the Playboy Mansion. Might need more than 7 minutes.
I went there twice.
All right.
Someday I'll tell my Martin Landau story.
Oh, maybe that's one for offline when we're not.
I should tell that story. It's a great story though.
Okay.
It involves Martin Landau and Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I know, right?
That sounds like one of those unexpected casts that just
Should I
works.
tell the story? I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell the
If
story.
it's your show, you can do whatever you want.
So you brought up the Playboy Mansion. So Jose Meyer, who was Marc Chagall's last student, who married, they're no longer married, the love of my life, or somebody it's a problem, but whatever. So he had sold some of his paintings to Hugh Hefner. So we would go, this is circa 90, early 2000s, like 99, 2000. So we could go, we went twice to the Playboy Mansion. And it was just like it was so weird. It was all these hot young things cavorting around and a lot of old Hollywood, like Tony Curtis was there. I talked to Brian Grazer there, the producer. But Martin Landau was there. And I was able to sit down with Martin Landau. We had an hour-long conversation. I was completely not interested in all the Playboy bunnies or all the centerfolds. I'm sitting here talking to Martin Landau for like an hour. And I said, what was it like to work with Hitchcock in North by Northwest? And he told me. He's like, no one remembers I was in that. I'm like, fuck yeah, you were. And he was telling me all these great stories. So then I left, and hanging out, drinking, maybe I was on ecstasy, who knows. And then I'm standing talking to a friend of mine, and we're over by the world famous grotto.
Mm-hmm.
And Neil Patrick Harris, who I do not know, comes running out of the grotto, and he runs right up to me. He puts his hands on my shoulders like this. And he's right in my face. And he goes, you have to go in there and see what's happening right now. And then he runs off. That is my one personal experience with Neil Patrick Harris. I've never met him before. I don't know what's going on. So I walk into it's in the famous grotto, and it's kind of like this circular, it's the interior of the grotto is this like faux stone. It's like a cave. It's like a cave in the middle of this pool. So I go in there, and there is Martin Landau sitting with his hands behind his head, just getting his knob worked by some young, hot blonde. I mean, and he is just in heaven. He is getting the most amazing Hummer from a beautiful young thing. And I'm like, this is not something that I should be watching. So I see what's happening, but I just thought to myself, I was just talking to this man about working with Alfred Hitchcock, and he's got to be in his late 70s, early 80s by now.
Is this pre or post Ed Wood?
It was post Ed Wood.
Okay.
And I'm just looking, I'm like, I have been a Star Trek fan my whole life, but I am about to change my mind and make Space 1999 the greatest television series I've ever seen. And there is Commander John Koenig getting Playboyed the way everybody envisions the Playboy Mansion. And let me tell you, no one's coercing anyone.
Wow.
He was an Oscar winner. Somebody wanted to get close to an Oscar winner, and he was enjoying himself, and I backed out of the grotto. And I turned around and made sure no one knew I was there. But let me tell you something. That was what life was all about.
Wow.
Bravo, John.
That's something.
Bravo. So that is a true story. And you know what's funny? I've always wondered if I ever met Neil Patrick Harris and brought this up, if he would remember it.
Yeah.
Because at this time, in that era, it was pre-cell phone, it was pre-smartphone. So you still could have evenings like that, and they were protected from having,
of course,
incriminating photos all over the internet. Look, this is something people, I got to tell you, as a child who moved to LA in 1988, the 90s were a blast in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they were a blast up until about, 2005. And then when smartphones came in,
when the iPhone came out in 2007.
yeah. Yes. And then it was all because you couldn't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And that was the end of, one day I'm going to write some article about the end of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And how the smartphone destroyed an entire generation. And still does.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, Doc Sale here may have something to say about
By the
that.
way, rest in peace, Martin Landau.
Rest in peace.
I know you have.
Welcome, Doug. And with that, you get to join the conversation.
Awesome to follow that story.
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Hey, yeah. Hello from the nasty country of Canada. We're known for our nastiness, apparently, according to the President of the United States. So, we're known for our nastiness. How are you doing?
I would beg to differ. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
I began my drinking career at 18 in Vancouver.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's my neck of the woods. Yeah. I hate to go all nerdy on you, but
gosh, you're gonna go nerdy on this channel?
Yeah,
God
I know,
forbid.
Right? I loved Superman. It's everything I wanted.
Yeah,
absolutely everything I wanted. I've already pre-ordered it.
Did you get the Steelbook?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. But I'm worried about Batman because the way I see it, we're talking, okay, Superman worked because, it's 3 years into his career, but with Damian Wayne, you'd have to think Batman's been doing his thing for, 15 or so years? And
yeah, Batman would be older than Superman, probably, maybe early mid 40s. And he would, yeah, sure.
And I'm a Dick Grayson fan, I guess they call it now, the kids call it. And Nightwing and everything like that. And I just think we're missing a lot of Batman stories. So a lot of really good Batman lore by getting him 15 years into his Batman stuff. What do you think? What do you think James Gunn's going to do?
Well, they're also developing a Titans movie. So I think one of the things that I could see happening is that there could be some really interesting tension between Dick Grayson, who's probably he might already be Nightwing and is no longer Robin. I don't know, but the tension that could exist between them could be interesting, good fodder for stories. The problem, here's my problem. And here's why I like what James Gunn wants to do. We're so used to dealing with the beginnings of these characters, like whether it's origin stories and dealing with the most archetypical, like Batman always has to fight the Joker. Like the Riddler is not as cool. Because these characters, Superman, like no one, you think about Superman, it's always Lex Luthor. Like no one's thinking about like Mongol and War World. And the problem with that is everyone likes, well, I'm not going to be happy unless he's going up against the number one villain. So everybody wants the same story made over and over again. Or Zod. It's either Lex Luthor or Zod. No one goes, I want Robert Vaughn to come back in the computer from Superman 3. Nobody wants that. What I find interesting is in James Gunn's universe, he can delve into all the other stuff that he obviously did Lex Luthor, but to meet Batman later, it was kind of like, my favorite Batman portrayal ever was Ben Affleck. I love Ben Affleck's older Bruce Wayne. I think the opening of Batman v Superman Man of Steel with Bruce Wayne in that awesome 3-piece suit running into trouble, I would have watched a movie about Bruce Wayne who never put on the Batman suit. He was just in that 3-piece suit that he was wearing at the beginning of Batman v Superman. You could have given me, like, I already know he's Batman. I don't need to see him become Batman. You could have done a whole movie about that guy, and I would have watched it. I think what we need somebody. What James Gunn said is he's set a table that's different from any table we've really seen before, and he's going to give us all different kinds of flavors. It's like Baskin and Robbins ice cream, 31 flavors. We're going to get 31 different flavors of superhero movie in the new DC EU, and I think that's exciting.
Yeah,
I think that's exciting, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Look, did I think Superman was a perfect movie? No. I think there's one clip I saw on the internet. I'm sure people have seen it where Crypto was asleep and he was like floating in the Fortress of Solitude and like wakes up and falls to the ground. I'm like, why wasn't that in the movie? Like, that's a great guy. I feel like we saw a truncated version of the movie James Gunn made. Same with Fantastic Four, by the way. These are both movies that there's so much riding on them. They had all these people weigh in, and they had to really, and James Gunn's his own worst critic, and he's the head of the studio, and both of those movies should have been 2.5 hours long. And I think if they were, they'd make even more money, because the joys of those movies were the characters, were the people. And the thing we got the least amount of in both of those movies was the human characters or the alien characters or the characters just conversing with each other. And what the funny thing is if you think about pick your favorite movie, whatever it is. The thing I think that most comes to your mind about your favorite movie is not an action sequence, but it's an exchange between two characters. That's the thing that you think about, no matter what the movie is. Like, let me ask you, Doug, what's one of your favorite movies?
Casablanca.
Well, that movie is full of, I mean, you played it for her, you played it for me.
Yeah.
Play it, Sam. Yes, boss. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Casablanca is a movie that is full of beautiful exchanges between two people or three people or multiple people. Or when you want to get up and watch a bunch of characters sing a national anthem or something. Casablanca is an incredible film that is all about relationships. And that movie is as riveting as any action film that's ever been made. And the reason people like any movie is because of characters. The thing about Fantastic Four and Superman is their failings are both the same. We don't have enough moments of characterization because they cut those movies down to make sure they're both around 2 hours for a reason, because everyone, those movies, there was so much riding on them. They basically made them critic proof as much as they could, but that has compromised how much they made in terms of that box office, because there's not enough of that gooey goodness of people relating to one another. I mean, my favorite scene in Superman is the scene in the Daily Planet where Lois, Jimmy, and Clark are talking, or when Lois interviews Superman. How does that movie not end with another interview with Lois and Superman?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not do that? He probably shot it and wrote it because he's a smart guy, but they had to. Both of those movies were like, and I think at the end of the day, that's problematic because you have 10,000 people second guessing all this stuff, and James Gunn was also the head of the studio. So he was being smart. He hedged his bets.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Doug. And we've got Adam coming up next. Welcome.
Adam from Germany, new father Adam.
Although, how old is the baby?
I don't know.
Now? It's got to be.
He's not a baby anymore.
Close to a year. Welcome, Adam.
Hey guys, how you doing? You hear me okay?
Yeah. So, okay, Dad, how's your kid? How old's your kid now?
He's fine. He's a year and a half exactly.
Wow.
You see, yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
Time flies. It's getting faster all the time.
I remember the days go slow, but the weeks go slow, but the months and years go fast. So that's kind of how it happens.
So, it's nice to be back. It's been a while. Shout out to my brother who just became a member. He's listening, but he's not in the chat tonight. But he's out there. Hey, Greg.
And where is your brother located?
He's in Brooklyn.
He's in Brooklyn. All right. Park Slope?
Yeah. No, Greenpoint.
Say I'm a snob.
Close enough.
I have to.
No,
I have to go to Park Slope first.
No, Greenpoint's the new Park Slope, man.
There you go.
But anyway,
What's your brother's name?
Greg.
Greg. Shout out to Greg.
Shout out to Greg. He'll be here next time, hopefully. Anyway, when he visited me actually a few weeks ago, and so I have good news and bad news today. I'll do the good first.
Uh-oh.
The good news is my brother was here, and my living room is being reorganized, so the TV was like way too close to the couch, actually. So it's like really a giant movie screen in front of you.
Nice.
And we sat down. We finally watched. I finally watched. On your recommendation, we watched it together. All That Jazz.
Had you ever seen it?
No,
And
I hadn't. It's fucking awesome. Greg,
would I steer you wrong?
I know, but I didn't. I knew it was good, but I didn't know it was going to be good. Like the movie was so good that it made me angry. It's so good. It's infuriatingly good.
And you wonder why movies like that are not made today.
There's nothing close. It was absolutely insane. And it was great seeing it, too close. I've actually left the TV there. It's a really fun way to watch movies. We have to actually choose a little bit where you want to look on the screen, kind of like a really big movie theater.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching movies like that. And anyway, and after that, I went and watched Cabaret, which I'd never done because I'm like not. And
so you went for the Bob Fosse double feature?
We watched them together. One night we watched All That Jazz.
Dude, that's like the greatest. That's like the most blissful. I mean, the only thing that's better than watching those two movies would be to spend the night with Farrah Fawcett Major circa Logan's Run.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Cabaret is pretty fucking good. So,
yeah, and Farrah Fawcett Major probably doesn't try hard anyway. That's
Cabaret. Like Cabaret is the All That Jazz is. Cabaret is the one that really hit me though.
Well, Cabaret is an incredible. It's Academy Award. It's an incredible film.
Yeah, and I'd heard about it. I never really believed it. Like, yeah, but I mean, Joel Grey too. I hadn't realized when I was watching it that he won the Oscar. It's insane, and there's like a million different ways to read the ending, and just there's so much stuff. It's awesome. I listened to the soundtrack for like a month straight. It's just. So thank you.
Let me ask you. Well, let me ask you a question. When you watch those films, I saw All That Jazz when I was 12 years old, and I can honestly say, I dragged my parents to it because it was R-rated. It changed my life, and it made me not just the story, but it made me aware of editing. I'd never been aware of how a movie was edited. And All That Jazz, the way it was cut, Alan Hymes' editing resonates to this day. But the film is so I would call it. What I loved about it is it's a very, very mature work about an immature artist, and I love it. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I wanted to be the main protagonist more than I wanted to be Joe Gideon.
Right.
12 years old, for all of his faults, for all of his,
And Roy Scheider, he's the last guy I ever would have cast for it, but he's the only guy you ever could have. If you ever see what Bob Fosse actually looks like. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a wiry. He was balding. Roy Scheider had more hair than he did, but he's a perfect representation of Bob Fosse.
Yeah, it's just. It was so infuriatingly impressive. It really is just so maddening. I've no films I've ever seen, those two have ever hit me quite like those did. They're just special in a way unlike any other. Just raw fucking awesomeness, and and like this,
and wildly entertaining.
That too. It's got everything. So good, so good. So thanks for that. Those are 10s. Those are 11s. Those are 11s.
They really are,
you
and
know?
both are. And for one director to have made those two films, and of course Bob Fosse coming from the stage, coming from Broadway, you should go back. One of the things that All That Jazz details is Bob Fosse made a movie about Lenny Bruce, called Lenny. And that movie, All That Jazz, is about some of it is about the process of making that film. So now you got to go back and watch Bob Fosse's Lenny that stars Dustin Hoffman.
I got that. I got Star Radio, and I got Sweet Charity. So I'm doing it.
Sweet Charity's his first film,
Yeah.
and it's better than, it's not, it'll be interesting for you to watch that progression.
Yeah, but it's amazing. But in my last minute, I got to give you the bad. See, how this TV's like close to my couch now?
Yeah.
You and I are both War of the Worlds guys. We've talked about this.
Are you going to talk about Ice Cube's War of the Worlds?
I am, unfortunately.
Bro.
Did you watch this thing? It's everything that's wrong with it. It's everything that's wrong with everything. It's I couldn't believe it. It's even worse than I ever could have imagined. Unbelievable.
I love Ice Cube. I do. I mean, I don't know how that movie got made. I couldn't get through it. I was actually excited.
I saw it on the thing. I'm like, I got to do it. And I couldn't turn it off because there's a hero at the end, by the way. They're not, the Martians are not killed by the littlest things. They're killed by a computer virus that Ice Cube's son programs. Spoiler alert. Yeah. And one of the heroes is an Amazon delivery driver. So
look, Ice Cube will never be diminished in my mind, but I mean, my first favorite movie as a child was the 1953 War of the Worlds. So I'm now conflicted. I mean,
he didn't write the thing, but it's unbelievable. You
know what? I'd like to believe he gave young filmmakers a chance to step up. He agreed to be in it.
And that movie's been sitting on the shelf for 5 years. I don't know if you knew that, but that movie was filmed in 2020. It's just coming out now, so I don't understand. Yeah. Adam, it was good to see you, my friend.
You too, guys.
Adam, good to see you, and shout out to your brother. Always good to have you coming in from Germany. You're still in, well, I guess you are still in Germany. So.
Yeah, and welcome to his brother to join us here in the membership group. All right, Richard Eve is coming up next. Welcome, Richard.
Got to take the good with the bad with these calls. Sometimes we have to talk about movies like War of the Worlds.
That's right.
Doesn't mean you can't go back and watch Spielberg's version and Byron Haskins' 1953 classic.
Well, and listen to the Orson Welles audio recording.
There you go.
Which
is also awesome.
Cleanse your palate with a few of those things. So
certainly does.
Yeah.
Richard Eve is here all the way from those isles that we were liberated from.
Yes. I know. Well done to you.
Keir Stormer, man, telling you he's recognizing states that don't exist. But okay, just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
No, it's an interesting kind of political threat, isn't it? I don't see why. I don't see why it's necessary for him to threaten recognition of Palestine. I don't really. I mean, God, you know what? It's something I'm really uncomfortable talking about because the news is so mixed, and I don't.
Oh, me too. I don't think on this on this call, but you know what? It's nice to know. What I find very, very interesting about the world that we live in today is whatever happened to pragmatism. What about the realistic nature of like cause and effect? And we live in a country where on a daily basis we wonder where our markets are going to be. because you wake up nowadays and you never know what our leaders are going to say or who. We had a man who was dismissed yesterday because he worked at a board that reports statistics, and someone doesn't want the statistics reported. This poor guy is like, I can only tell you what the numbers are. It's not political. The numbers are right here. Oh no, I don't like your numbers. You're fired.
Yes.
Gosh,
dystopia. Like you said, it's we haven't realized that we are already in a dystopia.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I don't understand why people don't just accept. Everyone wants to pretend reality isn't reality. But the thing is, what I don't get, it's always going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. You can do whatever you want, and you can believe whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's like it's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
But that's not what
you can't. I always say you can't spend your life on the run from the truth.
No,
you can't.
No, because you know what's great. Here's what I love. I always want to say to people, if I were to ask you to stand right here, and I walked up to the second story, and I had a brick in my hand, and I was going to drop it on your head. Is there any scenario where that outcome wouldn't be the same? The brick's going to fall. So I think we live in a world where everyone's trying to tell you, no, that the brick could slow down.
Yeah.
The brick might miss. The brick could somehow, you could protest the fact that you're going to drop that brick. But maybe
boycott the brick. Yes, boycott the brick.
Or someone will catch it for you.
Yeah.
No, the brick will fall. But what do you want to say? I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't mean to bogart your comments.
So nothing special. Just talking of nothing special, I recently saw Superman. And and I've been looking forward to it. And Superman's still my main boy. He's
your guy.
But nothing special, really. And it didn't piss me off in the ways that I would have expected it to. So I didn't find that there was that constant sort of comedic undercutting of drama or anything like that. That I would have thought, the post Joss Whedon screenwriting ethic. I didn't. I thought it was fairly straight. I mean, a light comedic tone throughout, but fairly straight, and it was okay. Nothing cringy or nothing kind of shut up, just let it happen. That was cool, and I liked the palette, and all the cast were great. But no, nothing sort of take home. No zingers in the screenplay. No kind of. There's no. I think we need a bigger boat, or get away from her, you bitch, or it's just I can't remember anything.
See, you're quoting lines because you remember the lines from movies that people said. You're not thinking action sequences.
Yeah, I can't remember anything that was said in the film at all. There was, but it worked fine. It kind of, and I don't often say this, but I thought it was a nice opener for this new DCU. I've got an appetite now for future content, but as a movie in itself, it didn't kill Superman, but it not that jazzed, really, not that jazzed.
I think that's a very fair criticism. I mean, I liked Superman only because I kind of liked it felt like a lot of anarchy was happening. I mean, I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing because it was I thought the movie was unhinged in a way that and I enjoyed that aspect of it because, how many more iterations of Superman can you see? I thought Superman and Lois, the 4 seasons of that was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Is that with
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I really
haven't
enjoyed
seen
it. I
that,
thought
yeah.
like there's a great scene in a diner when he reveals himself to the public, and I really love the premise of the show that no matter how super powered you are, it doesn't make you a better dad.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I thought that was a really how do you give Superman vulnerability, and making him a father of 2 sons I thought was really, really great, and I thought they handled it well, and I really enjoyed it. I think Superman's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that the movie wasn't a Superman movie as it was a DC universe primer that was opening the. What I really think is going to be the test is Supergirl.
Yeah.
And that the Woman of Tomorrow storyline, Tom King's comic, is, I mean, it's hardcore. That comic is hardcore in terms of what people expect, and it is a odyssey for Supergirl and Krypto to go on. If you haven't read that graphic novel, you should. And some people don't love it, but I think it's going to be interesting. And we've got the Lantern show, you know, and just that one photograph. I mean, Aaron Pierre, after watching Rebel Ridge, I mean, that guy's a superhero. I mean, I love that. I loved Aaron Pierre in that movie. And I thought it was great. And watching him and Coach Taylor, just not watching him, but seeing that one clip of them, I think we're going to get, I think the DC universe, at least the new DC universe, I think it's going to be really special. And as we see more of it and other people other than James Gunn directing things, I think we're going to get a very 31 flavors, the Baskin and Robbins of the superhero universe, which I'm excited about.
Richard, it was good to see you.
Can you, Roberto? Can you just put Richard on one more time, because I want to give him a final.
Of course, gonna go ahead, Richard. You should be able to unmute at this time.
Hey, yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah,
I just wanted you to I didn't mean to bogart your time.
Hey, no, it's fine. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, absolutely fine. I just want to sign off with that. I was just so glad to see Guy Gardner, because he's my Green Lantern. You know, I was mid-80s Justice League International.
But that's the greatest. I mean, I was so I was so adamantly opposed to some. I love that comic so much. I've got the omnibuses, and it was to see that was amazing.
Yeah. Top call. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it's great to see you.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
Great to see you, Richard. Thank you for joining us. What I lost Richard here. Let me just find him on the screen here so I can remove him. There we go.
Are we good with super chats or anything?
Nothing right now that I can see. Let me just double check again. But no, I don't know on your end. Do you have any tips?
No, we're good.
Nope. Okay, we're good. And remember that, folks, if you are watching us on YouTube and you want to send a super chat or tip, we can do that. And Richard, my favorite line from Superman that I remember is, "I don't need your help. I'm goddamn Mr. Fantastic." That was my favorite line.
And by the way, he led the Justice Society of America.
That's right.
I've loved Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, he was so good.
You said Mr. Fantastic.
I said Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Terrific. My bad. That's my geek cred is in the floor.
By the way, he was done dirty in X-Men First Class. It was so great to see him being given his due as Mr. Terrific.
Yeah. Plus, he said he's great in For All Mankind.
He's great. I love him. He was so awesome in this. I love him.
Yeah. All right. So we've got Krizik coming up next. Krizik, you should be able to join us now. Welcome.
Join us. Like the Evil Dead say.
What's
going on? Robert, here it comes. What have I done? What have I done?
I swear, some days I wonder about you. I wonder
You're not the first.
What did God do to curse me with a blight like you on my ass? No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to channel my inner Robert Vaughn, because you're dogging on my boy Robert Vaughn. I love Robert Vaughn to death.
I don't dog on Robert Vaughn.
You just said, I don't need another. I don't need a Superman robot computer movie with Robert Vaughn.
Okay, I just mentioned that he was in it so people would know. I mean, come on, I love Robert Vaughn. Are you kidding me? Napoleon Solo, Gelt from Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes, all of those things.
I love Robert Vaughn.
Good.
He has one of the greatest voices in cinema history.
Good. I got you riled up. I've got your attention now. So I need to know one thing from you, sir. What is that? What do I have on my screen right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's small. I have to like blow it up.
Blow it up a little bit.
Hold on. You're the speaker, so I have to go up to where I have to go to a speaker.
It's all right.
A glass of water?
Yeah, but what state would you say that glass of water's in?
Well, you know what? It's neither half full or half empty.
See, now that's spoken, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone that's listening right now, that is what we imagination connoisseurs will answer with. We're not going to immediately go, well, it's clearly a Nazi glass of water, Rob. Don't you see it's a bigot? Don't you see that it's going out of its way to offend me with the fact that it's half empty? Or the other way, well, it's clearly on my side of things, and it needs to be, it's more than half empty. It's full. There's a narrative here. And
yeah, but you know what?
If this right
that's
here,
Isaiah Mustafa.
It is. We were just talking about it. He's
my boy.
I
have a picture of me at Comic-Con with him.
I didn't want to even freaking talk about this.
Isaiah Mustafa came and watched me direct part of Femme Fatales. He was in an episode. Look at me, I'm on a horse. Do you know that he was going to be in Free Enterprise 2?
I know now.
There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
By the way, he is one of the nicest guys in the world.
I'd imagine so.
In the world, I'm the great.
As is Terry Crews, which I don't know personally, but I know by way of a friend. So there you go.
By the way, I love Terry Crews too.
But the point of this is to your point you were making with Mike earlier this evening or last night or whenever that observations was, where you were responding to Shane or Sean's letter.
Yeah, it was Sean. He said Shane. It's Sean's letter.
Okay. So the point that I'm trying to make is your point, which is this, which is, we tried it. We tried it this way. Or this way is actually more of a very
tried it your way, Con.
Insofar that we've got my boy Sammy Davis there,
Sammy
we've got
Davis,
my other boy Billy D there, and we're doing that now. I see DL's laughing, and look, I grew up with these guys in my life, from my dad and all that stuff. And this,
hey man, Frank Sinatra stuck up for. You got to give Frank Sinatra. I mean, Rob, the Candyman was going to be dissed, but Frank Sinatra said no.
Robert, I got to let you know, the Candyman was the first Jew, as far as we're concerned.
Well, there you go.
But there you go. That's a different story for a different day. But the whole point is, we tried it this way, and we, as in those of us that need to get ROI. All right, those of us.
You're getting me canceled right now.
I'm going to get you canceled right.
I'm getting canceled
in a minute. This. I'm getting into Gundam territory right now. I shouldn't even be going here, but it was sort of angering me because it's like, look, it's not that no one. We all wear our hearts on our sleeve. We all want to think great things. But there's a reason why things happen the way they happen, and we have to be careful of pendulum swings. You asked about what happened to pragmatism. Well, what happened to it is that, well, I'm going to just jump ahead to the ending. When we tried to have a conversation about this, and I know you were there for this conversation, we couldn't, because even having the conversation about the conversation became a conversation, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And that's part of the problem.
We're all natural born killers.
Which is why you probably read an article recently in the Atlantic where they talk about this, saying, hey, we can make this movie tomorrow and it would make sense because things haven't changed since 1994.
Yeah, because it's all about but Quentin Tarantino would still be pissed off.
He would still absolutely he'd be pissed off. This isn't the movie that he wrote. But the funny thing is that it's more on the lines of where does the line get drawn? Who gets to decide? Talking about things such as like Alon had brought up the Stop Killing Games initiative. Another thing that we're going through right now with payment processors that I have to deal with myself as a developer, not a fun times developer, but a developer of violent video games, is a payment processor that decides if you make something that has, and this should appeal to you as being a part of the family, Rob, if you have something that has content in it that has a person or a person's that are in a non-consenting state of mutilation, which I've never known anyone to consent to mutilation, that can be judged by the payment processor vis-a-vis Visa or MasterCard to be.
Well, you should read this book because there's consenting there. This is a book about people that do give consent to mutilation. It's amazing.
Now who's going to get canceled, Rob?
I know, right? But it's a great book. I didn't write it. I'm just saying.
I know that book. Just laughing. But no, it's that's the thing. It's like, where does the line end? If we I get what Sean, was trying to get at in this letter. But at the same time, we have to be careful of being so precious about if it only saves one X, if it only saves one child, if it only saves one woman, if it only saves one whatever. That means you're giving other people in control. And I know this because I've worked with those people, and Major Chai Chai can raise her hand. We've worked with these people collectively in the government, that they are the best people at doing nothing and wanting to ask all of you for your money for it. So do you really want them to decide that for you? I don't think so. It's not what I fought for, but that's just me. So that's my rant. Now here comes my apology. So I'm going to change the subject back off of that, back to me.
That's why I love these member calls. It's an ebb and a flow. You never know where you're going to go here, and I take a risk broadcasting these member calls to the world, but I would say this is, I talk about, discourse, hear it right. Well, there it sits, Krizik. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for allowing me the time. It is the biggest gamble I think any YouTuber can do, to let his audience speak truth to him.
But you know what, though?
I hate that phrase. I'm saying.
No, but you know what I would say? This audience, my audience, is great. I mean, I would say that the letters I get alone, that by the way, you don't have to keep him on, Roberto.
Sounds good.
I'm stuck in I don't know why it's not letting me transfer back to speaker mode. I mean, for gallery mode. I'm locked in speaker mode. So Krizik, go right ahead. What do you want to say?
Well, what I have to say is simply, and this is after talking with Gary, I apologize for giving you shit about Fantastic Four. I went into it really wanting to hate it. I did. And I really blame THR. I blame Variety. I blame a lot of folks. And I was talking with a few friends of mine at the studio about this by way of Strauss. And it's like, we used to have, you mentioned pragmatism. I jokingly said in chat just now, well, that's because the fairness doctrine is dead. And it's partly the reason why I cited Natural Born Killers, is like, everything is sensationalized. We can't just talk about a thing. We can't actually speak to the thing and say, is a movie good? Is a video game good? Is a music bit good? Without needing to put a lot of, well, it's about my politics now. Oh, and by the way, it's okay. Or it's about my politics now. Oh, by the way. So you end up basically driving away your fanship, whether rightfully or wrongfully, from something that they could have watched. And I would have been one of those people had my producer not dragged me kicking and screaming to the freaking cinema to watch Fantastic Four the entire time. I'm thinking, no, this is going to suck. And it was more patriotic for me the first 15, 20 minutes where they're doing the whole backstory on the four than Superman was for me. But that's just my own personal position.
Sure.
You may have a different one on that, but that's kind of what I got more vibes of Superman 78 patriotism out of Fantastic Four than I did out of Superman, for me. Again, I don't know if that relates to anyone else.
No, I can understand that.
It
was. I'm surprised people haven't come out. There hasn't been some, like, between eugenics. We're going to talk about eugenics with Sydney Sweeney, but no, like, this is an America this is the white supremacy America we want to see. I mean, it was such a weird. There were still Jim Crow laws in the Fantastic Four world when that. I'm surprised no one's picked up on that. I mean, it's such a weird. Look, we live in a weird. Here, I don't understand why people just don't get the fact that humanity, we're terrible. We've victimized one another since we came out of the trees.
Yeah,
we're terrible people.
Yeah,
and that's why, like, our default mode should be like, we're awful, and we should do better.
I agree completely.
And anytime we can do better, we should. And a kindness and there's. I also don't understand. We are a regional people. Like, if you travel around the world, depending on where you're standing.
Oh yeah.
When I went to Korea, I realized, shit, man. I felt like I've told people this before, but everywhere I looked, being 6'1", people looked at me like I was I don't know what, like I was suspect. I walked into any store, I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to be black in America. You can't walk into a 7-Eleven at 2 o'clock in the morning to buy, I don't know, toothpaste without somebody looking at you going, oh. Everywhere I went in Korea, people looked at me like, oh, the fucking American white guys here. What's going to happen?
Try going to Oahu looking like you do to the north side of the island.
Dude, I'm a haole bra from the North Shore, bra.
They will.
I know local. I steal your ways, bra.
Unless you say you're part owner in an ABC store, then they'll leave you alone.
No, but it's always eye-opening. That's why everybody should have, Americans need passports. And don't sit there and tell me, well, it's a privilege to be able to travel, to buy a plane ticket. Save your pennies.
Yeah, Major Chai Chai's right. You got to stay out of Waiaha.
Yeah, well, look, I like to go into culture to learn about them. When I first moved here,
I would want you to go there just to see, because you made a promise, and this would be the last thing I said. You made a promise that if you could, you would go around and you would F the world. I was going to say the other word. You would F the world.
Let me tell you something.
Because we were talking about Superman.
There's beautiful women of every shape, size, color, and creed. Everywhere you go, every place you go on this planet, there are beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Look,
everywhere. They are every single color. They're colors you haven't even seen yet.
I agree with everything that David Lee Roth said. Yes.
And they all taste great.
Thank you.
Just saying. Just saying. You know what?
And on that note, I'm done with my time. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, Krizik.
Right then.
All right.
Spicy.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I need to get myself a cold drink and a fan going here.
I know, man. I feel like, you can't travel the world unless your cheeks are glistening. That's all I can say. Maybe a little drip off of your chin. You know what I mean?
I didn't tell you, Rob, but Felix and I, to celebrate his 16th birthday, we are heading to Japan next week for 12 days.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Major Chai Chai was in Japan,
I know. She told me. So I'm heading over. We're leaving on Thursday.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Expect a box.
I'll see what I can get for you.
You know what there's one thing I really want to find.
What's that?
It's Char's mobile suit from Char's Counterattack. And it's about $3,000.
Okay.
Just saying. Looking for
All right.
It's a die-cast metal. It was very limited. It's very difficult to find. Just saying.
Well, I will see what I can do.
Find one.
Yeah, if I find one, I'll let you know. DL. We got DL coming up next. You should be able to join us now, DL. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas.
How's it going?
Going well. How's my mic?
Look at that figure in the background. Are you painting that? What is that? What's going on?
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I do like that. Wow, look at that.
Making that in a quarter scale. I don't know how.
Wow. Is that, I was going to say, with that sword, that's Berserk. Now, have you been painting that? What is that? What is that? Resin? Is that?
Yes, sir. It's a resin printer that I use. So I made it together. I think it was CA 3D Studios or something like that. But there's a ton out there, and it's just got out the military, and that's one of the things that really helps calm me down. I find my Zen space. I got a couple out there. I like making it in quarter scales, but trying to get good to make it into like the 6 scales.
Yeah, but quarter scales, I love that format.
Yeah, it's huge and it's easy to paint. Let me tell you that for sure.
Yeah. Wow, nice. Nicely done.
And I sent you some photos last night of it. I got this, I don't know if you've been reading the Absolute Wonder Woman run that they got going on right now, but here's.
Hang on a second. You sent me photos?
Yeah,
hang on. Hold on. To my email?
Yeah.
Let me look.
I think last night. Grace, I was in the Marine Corps. Answer that question. But while you look that up, Rob,
I'm looking. Oh, here they are. I didn't see this. Well, oh wow. Okay, yeah. Wow, dude. These are I want to read this on the show. This Berserk. This is a great picture of the Berserk. This is amazing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow.
You inspired it. I saw all yours in the back. I said, man, I wish I could afford that. Then I was like, fuck, I could get these printers. I got Anycubic. I'm a brand guy. Whether it's like handguns or printers, I like to stick to a brand. That's just me. So I use Anycubic. I might be upgrading because I just broke them recently. Some resin fell inside while they were still printing. So that was the end of that.
Wow, these are real. Are these all quarter scale? I mean, I'm gonna show these on the next
6.
I'll show these on the next Robservations.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
These are great.
I'll make sure to attend and be there. What I wanted to talk to you about a little bit to piggyback off of the one that I can't say his name. Sorry.
Krizik. Yeah.
Krizik. Before me is the pendulum swing is. I'm really seeing it hard nowadays, especially to use Superman as the example. That so many people are bringing baggage into movies.
Yeah.
That don't belong there, but also directors are making movies and shows with baggage too. For example, you could clearly tell, and you can see this in so many. You can go back to your old English books. What did this author mean when he wrote this down? Right? You could see, like Ghost in the Shell, the movie. You could tell they made that in the Weinstein Me Too era because she kept saying, "I consent, I consent," even though that was nothing in there. Right? You can see in the Superman movie that everything was a knee-jerk reaction to Man of Steel. Superman is not a clown. They made him a clown. The only time that I could see him ever being a clown or trying to make people laugh or being emotional in a way is when he's around Batman, because he probably sees Batman as like, he's the real Superman as Batman. He's the pinnacle of human society and life. And Superman sees him, it's like, wow, he's a gas. Anywhere else, Superman is the de facto king.
Right.
Clark Kent, yes, he's the clown. He jokes around. That's to help hide his persona of who he really is. But when I saw the whole time, 100% of the time, Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman are all the same person, you could clearly see it's a knee-jerk reaction to what Man of Steel was. And the reaction to Man of Steel wasn't a horrible movie. It was a great movie. I think it's one of my favorites. I agree with John. Is the most underrated comic book movie of all time.
I love I've always loved Man of Steel, but I see it more as a science fiction movie as opposed to, say, a superhero film.
Yes, but we all look at it that way because we think he doesn't save many people. But he saved one, the whole world. But two, you could go through and see in every single act he's saving multiple people.
Oh yeah,
times.
I mean, it's about an extinction level event. When he took out the world engine on the other side of the planet, he saved billions of people.
But I think because we carry these thoughts of what these movies need to be. Oh, well, Superman would have saved more people and this and that, or he never would have killed Zod. It's like, well, you got to judge the movie on what you got. You got to see
also
it.
What the movie sets up. The movie sets up a context, and you can't. You have to look at the film. What's it going to do with Zod? You can't put him in jail.
No, there's no Phantom Zone. You destroyed that. So what is there, right? So much back, and you can see in so many other things, and that's probably why, to go off their first guy, you don't have like great stuff anymore because no one's just trying to produce. Everyone's trying to bring their own baggage into it and share it with everyone, as I'm doing right now, I guess. Right? You got to, and this is one thing I want to start a chat on and try to do is like, hey, just what the movie is, nothing before, nothing after. What is this movie? Is it good? Is it bad? Not what it could have been, not what's missing. What was presented? Was it good? Mediocre? Was it bad? And one thing I saw was with this new Superman and even with Fantastic Four, everyone that I watched walked into it knowing that they wouldn't like it, all came out not liking it. And vice versa. Everyone that knew they didn't like it came out loving it. It's like, oh, well, no shit. You wanted, right? Like, who could turn their brain off and just
100%. Let me ask you this.
Yes, bro.
Why? So I'm fascinated. When I was growing up, nobody ever thought that we, growing up in the post Jaws, post Logan's Run, post Star Wars world, it didn't matter what was coming out, science fiction, fantasy, horror. We all went into it wanting to like it, and it was all varying degrees of cool or awesome. People would say, like, even Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, nobody would be like, well, that sucked. Everyone, or Krull, it's like, well, it was all right. I kind of like that. It was just varying degrees of great. And then, because we loved science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and now it's everybody thinks everything's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I mean, don't worry, we won't play you off right now. But I find it interesting that people seem to enjoy wanting things to suck. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a tribalism thing. It's easy to unite over hate. Is I think the only thing that we could unite over love is what, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because everyone loves that no matter what. And I'm going to go see that in concert in a few months. So that's going to be awesome. But I think with the purists, oh, Tom Bombadil wasn't in the movie. Shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear that. What we got was great. All right. We don't care what we have on screen. Oh, no one cares, buddy. Unlike
it's an adaptation too. You can't put everything in there. I mean,
So-
in the book Jaws, Matt Hooper has an affair with Brody's wife.
Yeah. And that wasn't in the movie, was it? No.
No.
So you have to think, like, it's much like these video game movies or shows. Like, you can't put every single side quest, every single dialogue. You've seen it already, and you're taking the creative direction away from the director. To go back to the pendulum swing, that's where you'll see everything's going to swing towards the Marvel directions. Beautiful, clean, bright, happy, funny. Everyone's a clown, making jokes at the worst possible moment, like the beginning. Superman gets his ass whooped, and you would think, like, wow, the Man of Steel, this immortal freaking god, just got his ass handed to him. What's the first thing that happens? He gets his ass whooped some more by his dog. Come on, man. You completely take me out of that action 100%. And then afterwards, these animatronic beings can't tell sarcasm or thank you, and then they laugh as they get looked at. Like at least in the trailers, it was like that too. But it's I think we lose the ability to capture like emotion for a long time. I don't know what's the last time I saw a movie that's watching in the middle. I think I Am Legend, when he has to put down Samantha.
Oh,
like
bro.
you're looking at there, you're like, oh, what if he made a joke right after that, right? That's the movies today. He kills a dog. It's like, oh, no hot dogs anymore. Like, well, what does that mean, right? No, it's a somber moment, and they keep stealing away the feelings that attach us to these characters for a 2-cent comedy bit, and then people hate them for it because I wanted to feel these emotions. I wanted to feel it. Wow.
Well, I think you wanted to feel emotions that other iterations of the character promised that you would.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, like, look, the one thing I knew going into James Gunn's Superman, look, I love Christopher Reeve's Superman. I love Man of Steel. I love the beginning of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, watching Bruce Wayne run into the fight. And I love that. But I knew that this movie was going to be totally different.
Yeah.
And I wanted to meet it on its own terms. Like, I don't go into movies expecting, like, even Star Trek. I don't go into Star Trek expecting something.
You sure about that?
Except what I want from them is to be honest. I want an honest story within the framework of the context they're working in.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about Superman is there's been many different iterations of Superman. As somebody who's been reading comic books for 50 years, I've seen many different iterations, and the Justice League International iteration, which is something that was heavily influenced James Gunn. I expected some of that. And so I got what I was expecting, or what the paradigm that he was working in, I got that from the movie. And like, that's all I ask. If you're going to work within an IP, especially an IP, Superman has many different iterations over the years. We have received certain, like, I just got done with, Superman and Lois, 4 seasons of that. And that was very much the same, along the same lines as Christopher Reeve, as Zack Snyder, as or Henry Cavill. And I knew that what we were getting was the polar opposite of that. And for me, I got what I was expecting, and I enjoyed it for that. What I find weird is that people are locked into it can only be this way. Now, people might say to me, isn't that what you think about Star Trek? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Star Trek has all of this. We've seen it. We've seen it since 1966. And there was a certain expectation and we have hundreds and hundreds of hours of Star Trek. And when you get to a point where you're watching a show where the creators of modern Star Trek don't like the very thing that they're making.
Yeah.
James Gunn, you might not like what James Gunn did, but it's apparent that he loves this universe.
If I could say one quick thing, I did like it. I feel that, and like I said, I love Man of Steel. I just feel the perfect is right between the two. If you could blend those two directors, you have the best of the man.
I don't disagree with you.
I think he did a great job. I think he's going to do great for it all. I'm just saying that you could clearly see the pendulum swing to the opposite direction, clearly avoiding everything else. And hopefully they could come back to what they were. And I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. I love the show. I love what you do. And for my first time, man, I had a great conversation with you, brother.
Well, I appreciate that, DL. Thanks. By the way, what branch of the service did you come out of?
Marine Corps.
No, nice. How long were you in?
I was in 7 years, and then I was
Wow.
medically discharged.
Oh, wow. But, well, I don't want to be one of those guys that says thank you for your service because I think that's obvious. But thank you for your service. I'll say it. But, I mean, I've often thought one of my best friends in the world when he went into he's a Green Beret. He's an 18 Delta. And he that's all he ever wanted to do. And we've been doing this medical lecture series for the last 7 years. And I've often thought, I wish I had the military discipline. If I'd gone into the military after I left high school, I think I would have done better later in life, like right now, because I would have had more discipline.
The truth is a lot of people have it inside them. And just like the medias that you see and everything, I always, while I was in boot camp, one thing I always kept going back to my head was Solid Snake and Goku.
Right.
You have it inside you.
I love that. I love that. Solid Snake and Goku. That's the greatest thing ever.
But what are they always talking about? It's in you. If you have everything you need, you just got to push deeper, push harder. You got to believe in yourself. The human will is indomitable. You have it all inside you, regardless if you did it at 18 or try to go now, which, I mean, obviously you're outside the limit, but
I would do it though. I would go through boot camp. You know what? If there was, I often think about that. If I had an opportunity to serve now, if they allowed people to bring, obviously they're still thinking about fighting. I might not be so great in the infantry, but it would not, if I could go in and serve in the military now.
Make some commercials.
No, but I would go through boot camp. I mean, maybe I could do something to do with logistics or planning. I would do it. I would do it. I would be interested in that because at this point in my life, getting back in shape, finding that discipline, I think it's odd that we don't. I mean, I don't know if that would work because it's as a fighting force. I don't know how effective I would be in the field, but on the front line. But maybe as support logistics, I don't know.
Could be. Who knows? But to play into what you're saying. Like if you take the excuse of boot camp out of the way, who says you can't go to the gym and work out and get the shape that you want?
Oh, I could.
Can be.
I could, but I would like to. I think it'd be interesting to be in our world today, to be on the cutting edge of. There's a lot going on, and to just be aware of that. And yeah, I know I could. I've been to the gym before. There was one time when I spent 2 years and I got back in 2010, 2011. I got ripped. It was really interesting. The problem with that is. It's the maintenance. It was fun to do. I'd love to do it again. And now I can do a chair workout. Apparently, I only have to work out eight minutes a day.
Well,
I look like a superhero.
I'm married to a hot Ukrainian wife, so I have to go to the gym all the time with her.
Oh, that was good. I used to have a hot Ukrainian wife.
Yeah, I know. You inspired me. And then she said that. I was like, oh shit, really? No, I was married before I found you, but. It's the one thing we have in common. They're expensive,
but worth it.
Yes. I love you all. Semper Fi. Thank you, Rob, for having me on.
Absolutely, DL.
Good to see you, DL. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
All right. Well, Rob, we are at the 2-hour mark, so I think it is that time when we say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. So we're gonna continue.
No super chats or anything. Let me check and just make sure that
nothing on my side. I don't know if you have anything on the on the tips?
Hold on, I don't know. Let me see. Let me go back. I just want to make sure I don't want to lose anybody. No, I think we're good.
Okay. So anything coming up that we need to let folks in YouTube know?
No,
No.
although, I'm working on getting this White Devils internet premiere going. And
Awesome.
Also the Imagination Connoisseurs short story competition that I'm reviving and I'm going to do in earnest. I'm working on that as well. And
Cool.
Of course, True Noir, still doing True Noir. I'm making all the special, the perks. The soundtrack album's dope. It's so good. And the physical media, the Blu-ray is coming along quite nicely as well. I just got the final version of the conversation that Max and I had shot a couple of years back when I first met him. We went to a speakeasy in Iowa and I interviewed him, and that's on that interview. It's like 45 minutes is going on the Blu-ray. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Pretty excited about that.
And just as we're finishing up here, RRTNZ from New Zealand sends us a $10 New Zealand tip saying, "Hail Bob, it's become very rare that I can turn up to these things, but I think it's great you still hold them. Hope you're well with plenty of exciting projects on the way. Live long and
Thank you very
prosper."
much. Yes.
Yeah, we miss seeing you. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well.
But good to hear from you, sir. Always a pleasure.
And we have Crane Den One just reminding us he's been a member for 6 months. So thank you for
that
patronage. All right, and so with that, we are going to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. But remember, if you are a member and in the Zoom call, the chat will continue there. So until next time, Rob, we'll see you. Probably be a little bit after 2 weeks because I'm going to be traveling, but we'll connect and figure out when to do our next chat.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, 100%.
Sounds great. All right, everybody, take care.